You want to see more housing built around you. You want more neighbors to share the city with, to co-create a vibrant, culturally diverse city with abundant opportunities for people to thrive and succeed.
Maybe it's out of self-interest. You want a more affordable place to live, or for your children, your grandchildren, to be able to live near you. Maybe you run a small business and you would like to see more foot traffic in your store from your local area. Of course, you may be a builder that just wants to make some money. Or, on the other hand, a government housing program trying to secure a site to provide housing to the over 40,000 people in the city who need it desperately.
All of these reasons are impacted by how the city plans development and who they listen to in that process. The easiest way you, just one resident, can fight for more housing is to attend a city consultation. But what are city consultations, and how can you get involved? More Neighbours Toronto is a local grassroots organization that advocates for more housing in the city and the people who need it. One of the ways we do that is to help organize advocates and volunteers and direct them to city consultations and other things like that. By the end of this video, you'll see how easy it is to jump in and support more neighbors coming to your neighborhood. Across North America and many other parts of the world, the consultation process is done to seek community input on new developments. This is led by the city to gain feedback from the locals to tweak new designs to make it fit better with the area and better suit local needs. While sometimes the discussion is productive, a lot of the times it's dominated by
was that they needed $330 million of essential sewer upgrades, and there was no reasonable prospect of that work getting done. And of course, none has been done. And that is tiny little Birchcliff. And all of that is going to fall on the back of the taxpayers.
It's an interesting comment. Thank you for bringing that up. It's not something American Kestrel. I'm not familiar with it, but thank you. Just Googled it.
Yeah, let's call them topics not as important as getting people affordable housing.
But if representing the public is the goal here, the public hearing is far from ideal because these meetings are not representative of the general public. A study by Einstein, not that Einstein, looked into the attendance at public hearings in 97 cities in the metro Boston area. It found that older, male, longtime residents, voters in local elections, and homeowners are significantly more likely to participate in these meetings.
And if that's all who shows up, that's all who the city planners are going to listen to. It tends to be people who have more time on their hands, such as the elderly, the affluent, and generally people not living paycheck to paycheck. It's so important all citizens get a chance to participate in these, not just the ones with the means to take time out of their day and attend. And to top it all off, these used to be in person and even less accessible before video conferencing took off during the pandemic. This would have further limited input over the last 20 years. So if you want to see positive change for the housing crisis in this city, it's critical you show up for a consultation. Here's how. There are two types of consultations: in person or virtual meeting. However, both basically have the same way of doing things. In either case, you're in for 30 to 60 minutes of presentation where you're listening to them talk about the proposed development or change, followed by 30 to 60 minutes of question periods. Here's how to get to one. First, when and where are they? Sign up for a consultation calendar. This calendar lists all the dates, times, and locations of all the consultations going on throughout the city. We'll provide the registration link for virtual meetings and the location for any that are in person. Plus, if you're on our online organizing platform, Discord, there are discussions and alerts for consultations. Check back frequently to see if you can make one. Every voice helps. Second, getting to the consultation. For in-person, all you have to do is make the time and show up at the location given in our calendar. For virtual meetings, follow the registration link. Enter your details and have your postal code handy, and the day of the consultation you'll receive a link for the meeting in your email. Third, during the consultation. In a virtual meeting, your microphone and camera will be automatically turned off. You won't have to worry about your pet goat getting in the way of the consultation. During question period, you should click the raise hand button and listen for when they call you to speak. They'll unmute you. When you're finished, make sure to click the raise hand button again so that it actually lowers. In both meeting types, you can always write in your comments in the comment box at any time, or by just emailing the organizers afterward. Any comments at a consultation, verbal or written, get entered into an official public record attached to the case, and will demonstrate either support or opposition. Fourth, what do I even say? It's common for people to be intimidated at consultations. So just remember your core line. I'm in support of this project. Things like, I like having more neighbors around. I see that as a good thing. And I think that this project will fit that goal. How you dress up that basic statement is entirely up to you. If you can, though, try to think of these tips to spice it up. Avoid negativity and crosstalk. You will hear misguided people talk and get heated with "not in my backyard" isms. You're not going to change residents' minds here. Focus on your own message and on being compelling. Remember, your job is to convince city staff and councillors that density is both popular and for the greater good. Focus on why this project is good, not necessarily why others are wrong. Make it personal. Pull on their heartstrings. The way I did this in my first consultation back in 22 was I just talked about me. I told them I'm a high school teacher and I want to start a family with my partner soon. I want an affordable place in good neighborhoods, and neither me nor my students can afford a single-family house when they all cost millions of dollars. Call out specifics from the presentation. If you can, call out specific details the staff said that you liked about the project and weave that into your response. Finish with a concrete question. You want the staff to be able to reflect on what you've said to ensure that they've gotten the message. Ask a question that interests you about the project and gives them an opportunity to sell it in a positive light, or even improve the amount of housing it provides. Some good ideas include, this project has good density, but is it possible to add another floor so we can welcome new neighbors? Can we increase the percentage of 2 and 3 bedroom apartments so that we can satisfy that growing need? Me or my family would be seriously interested about making a home here. Can you tell me more about why do we need to build an angular plane here? These have been shown to chop off 30 to 40% of units. That means fewer homes for people in a housing crisis. Is there anything we can do to reduce or eliminate these arbitrary changes? Next steps. That's it. The key thing here is to keep showing up. A lot of the time you'll come up against the city defending its policies. So one of the most impactful consultations you can go to are overall policy reviews, such as amendments to the city plan. I know, that sounds boring as all heck, but you can just tune out the presentation. Just make sure you stay around at the end and leave a comment, whether it's an email or just putting it in the comment box. It's so important for you to attend these, and also to complain to your local councillor about unnecessary regulations and stipulations, reducing the ability to build housing supply. Is this process arduous and complicated? Yes. There's an argument to be made that these mandatory consultations have an outsized impact on city planning. We could change the system to be more like Houston's, who have broad city-wide rules, but they allow specific neighborhoods to opt out of certain policies if they get a majority. But that's the thing. They're not beholden to the minority of people that can make it out to these consultations, which sometimes happen in the middle of the day when no one can go to them. But for now, you should feel empowered to share your voice for more neighbors with the city. I can't attend every one, even virtually, but every time I do, I know my comments are recorded and taken into account by the city. I'm doing my part to ensure that we live in a future that allows for individuals and families to reduce their cost of living and to contribute to the vibrant cultural and economic fabric of Canada's biggest city. Can't make it to a meeting? Here's the minimum you need to do to support new housing. Find a new development to support. There's always a website. Email the associated city staff and your councillor the following. I am a local resident at postal code here, and I am writing in support of this development. It goes in the record, and you've made a small push to support more neighbors to thrive and add to Toronto's cultural fabric. Is emailing or attending consultations the only thing you can do? Of course not. Our politicians depend on our votes to support them. If they hear from enough people, on their phone lines, in person at their offices, or here at consultations, change can happen. Working together in big enough groups so that they will listen to the message is the key. This video helps with just one small way you can stand up and advocate for a stronger city.